Hello, everybody. Welcome to the One Nation of Gamers Summer Circuit. This is the feature tournament number one. My name is T. Johnson McCuty Sanders, and I'm joined by David Dog Kyra. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I just woke up from a nap and feeling fresh, charged, ready to cast this tournament. How are you?
I'm
Good?
doing well. I didn't have a nap, so I'm not quite as refreshed as you are, but definitely looking forward to seeing some fantastic Hearthstone action. For those of you who are just now joining us and don't really know too much about the Summer Circuit or about One Nation of Gamers, it is sort of the premier summer tournament for open players. Basically, we have 16 open tournaments that all lead into 4 feature tournaments throughout the summer. Each of those open tournaments give away GEICO points, and the GEICO points can be used to qualify players for the feature tournaments and, of course, for that grand finals that's going to be happening at the end of the summer at PAX in Seattle. So for the first feature tournament, we have 2 invited players, so 2 pro players. The pro players for this week are Kolento and Amaz. We have the 2 players with the most GEICO points from each region, NA and EU, that made it through the first 4 qualifiers, so 2 from NA, 2 from EU. And, of course, we have the 4 winners of our first 4 open tournaments. So we have a pretty stacked lineup for you guys today, and it should be pretty fantastic. Of course, throughout the summer, we'll be giving away $60,000 worth of prizes, of course, all made possible by GEICO. And, of course, lots of GEICO points and World Championship points as well. So the first matchup of the day is going to be a Kolento versus Nostam. So, Dog, what do you know about these two players?
Kolento, super established. I mean, he plays in everything and is, he's won a lot. He has a lot of oomph to his name. Whereas Nostam, I've heard of him. I played him on ladder. He's definitely a good player. I mean, he had to be a good player to qualify for, this opportunity, things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how he matches up against Kolento, an already established player. Should be a good match. I really enjoy watching when pros play like someone who's not very well established. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from the unestablished player, but I don't know. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah, of course, Nostam was the player to qualify with the most GEICO points from the North America region, and Kolento was one of the invited players for the week. So both these players are part of Group A. We will be broadcasting all of Group A today, which means that it's a GSL style double elimination group stage. So we'll have Kolento versus Nostam, and then we'll have Eldritch versus Wafster. The winners play each other, the losers play each other, and then of course the losers of the winners match plays the winners of the losers match. It sounds kind of complicated, but in the end it's sort of like a double elimination group bracket where we end up with 2 players at the end of the day that move on to the playoff stage. I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. Make sure you head over to geico.onog.gg. You can get all the information about the tournament, all the information about GEICO as a sponsor. You can get a quote from GEICO as well. And you can also enter in for your chance to win a official TSM PC. The giveaway is global, so wherever you are in the world, make sure you head over to that website, check out the information, and enter in for your chance to win a TSM PC. But it looks like we are jumping in to the first matchup between Kolento and Nostam, and it looks like it's going to be Kolento's Warrior versus Nostam's. I didn't
Druid.
see
Against Druid. Druid.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. So it looks like it's Patron Warrior, and I don't know, this matchup's really sketchy. You see Kolento keeping Patron, and that's because the way you win this matchup is just turn 4, play Dustbite, turn 5, drop a Patron, and then just start going crazy with it. So I really like that keep from him. I don't know.
Yeah,
two's not very good though.
And once you get those patrons on, it's so hard for Druid to be able to remove it. They have to get a really explosive start with Wild Growths and Innervates and force the Warrior to play defensive for most of the match.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, there's the Wild Growth from the Druid. He clearly plays Druid. He's a good Druid player. Every good Druid player will draw Wild Growth.
Yeah. We have a slight spectator bug happening, so we're going to try and get Nostam's hand as quick as possible. But for right now, we're going to role play as Kolento.
Exactly. So we hit face there. I don't think he knows that it's Patron or not. You can make the decision not to attack just because Battle Rage is a thing, stuff like that. But
yeah,
ultimately Kolento can always damage himself with weapons anyways.
Yeah, and Kolento's not really a predictable player. I believe he's brought Patron Warrior to some of the recent tournaments that he's been playing, but he also plays a lot of Control Warrior, so it's hard to pin him on one. But the Frothy Berserker is definitely going to give it away.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Nostam.
We have vision.
Got him. All right, so the charge there, pretty good. Weak against the weapon, but Kolento doesn't have it. I don't know. I do like charging there. Frothings are like the most annoying thing for Druids to deal with. That and patrons, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're playing quick.
Yeah, both of these players. They're like you, dog.
I just want a beast. It's okay.
Sort of a rough curve here for Nostam early on. He hit the wild growth, but then he didn't really hit that 3-4 drop that he wanted to. He didn't draw into Paladin Shredder or Shaded Naxxramas. So now he's the one that's going to be having to play defensively, and using his removal spells for Armorsmith and Loot Hoarder is not the greatest feeling. But Swipe isn't really that useful later on in this matchup, because a lot of times you can't even use it when the board gets filled with Grim Patrons.
Yeah, Kolento's just like chilling there. He doesn't really like, I don't know, like he can coin Emperor this turn, right? I actually can't see the mana.
Yeah, 5 mana, yeah, he can coin Emperor.
So coin Emp. The thing is, like, when you're playing Patron, you kind of like have to have enough cycle and enough stuff to do. Like right now he has like 2 Patrons, right? I mean, like in hand. What's he gonna do with that? The good thing is like he teched in Slam, which you know, he can start propagating those Patrons. It's nice. Keeper. Wrath. Ugh, it's really bad when you're behind as Druid. Like, just playing the removal game is definitely not fun. Because, like, as a Druid, you can't really leave anything on the board because you don't really have good mass AoE clear, so you have to deal with threats, like, as they come. Otherwise, you just fall behind and get, like, berserked, but at the same time, you want to be as aggressive as you can to try to, like, finish the warrior because, you know, they're just going to start destroying you. Like, yeah, like this. Like, there's nothing the Druid can do right now. He's just going to have to play, like, a few cards and hope he can start clearing.
Yeah. And that's pretty rough. And he knows that you have to remove them, like you said, you have to remove them as they come. And a lot of times you have to remove those Grim Patrons one at a time. You have to Keeper one, Wrath the other, Hero Power the other. And since he's already been through a Wrath and a Keeper, and he had to do that to remove Emperor Thorsan sort of desperately, he's just sort of in the hole right now, and there's not really too much that's going to climb him back out of this one. Unless...
I like this. Yeah, this is a good play.
Yeah. Unless Kolento draws dead for the next couple turns.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. That's a pretty good draw.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can definitely just smack. Oh, is he going to go face here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sets up for lethal also with Grommash.
Yep. And even if he finds a way to put a taunt down or heal through it, he still can... He protects his Grim Patrons, he can develop even more Grim Patrons, execute a big threat next turn.
That Despot draw was probably one of the best draws Kolento could have gotten that turn, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Warsong would have been dead. Battle Rage would have been dead. I guess Gnomish is like the best if he even runs it.
Yep.
So I think that's game, right? Is that enough damage? That's 6 plus 4 plus, yeah.
Unless...
The Boombots?
Boombots hit Grom each for 4.
The dream.
That's the only way.
You can't even be mad. You can't even be mad if you lose like that. Like,
yeah.
You just kind of have to laugh.
Yep.
Alright. So it looks like Kolento is going to take game 1.
Yeah.
What does Nostam have left? Let's see. Still has Druid, Warlock, and Warrior, and Kolento has Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior.
Yeah.
Hunter, Rogue, and Warrior. So if you're Kolento, what do you pick? Do you pick the Hunter or do you pick the Rogue?
I think I'm not sure if Kolento is one of the players that just like rolls a dice. But a lot of players, if they don't do that, they probably try and save the deck that they perceive as the weakest until last. Yeah. It's like through a couple different styles. Judging by how he picked Patron Warrior first, it looks like that's sort of his plan to pick the weakest deck last, or what he perceives to be. So I'd imagine he'd just pick Hunter next, try and pick up a quick win, and save Rogue for the third deck.
Hunter seems pretty good against the Warlock, the Druid. Yeah. The Warrior, maybe not. So maybe Nostam will go Warrior, thinking that there's a lot of mind games that go into it. It's really interesting to think about. I don't know. A lot of people just RNG it and pray they get a good matchup, which, I mean, like, you're going to get a 50-50 matchup if you RNG it anyways, right? Like, you don't even have to put in mind games because you're just, like, rolling the dice. So yeah, it looks like he's just gonna repick Druid. A lot of people do that also. I don't really like that. Like I like just randomizing it, but you know that's fine. And it looks like Kolento picked up Rogue.
Yeah, this is so I know you probably have the most experience with these two classes out of most players that play at a competitive level. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Who has the advantage?
Rogue. All the Rogue. Okay, here's the thing. Whenever people ask that, like all the Rogue players, always are just like, yeah, Rogue's favorite because they're like so confident in their Rogue and they're just so like arrogant and cocky. I've been losing a lot of my matchups against Druid though as Rogue because I cut Violet Teacher. Violet Teacher's really good against Druid because they don't really have. They only have Swipe.
Yeah.
Because Double Shredder helps so much against Warrior. But if you are running double Violet Teacher, Rogue's favored. If Druid doesn't draw Wild Growth, Rogue's obviously favored. If Druid has the nuts, Druid has the nuts.
Yeah. There's also a lot more Harrisons now than maybe sometime in the past when Rogues were also popular just because so many weapon classes are strong right now. Both Warriors, Rogue. So
exactly. That can definitely be a hindrance. Kolento's hand's pretty good though. I mean, prep sprint's decent. Like the Druid's hand is just awful mostly. I think that's the issue right now. Like having combo in hand is fine, but like you don't really want it this early when your opponent's at 30 HP, right?
Yeah.
BGH's probably going to be dead as well.
And he also has the second prep to be able to leverage in the mid game for big plays or removal. Yeah, this is a pretty big hand. Oh, he does keep Violet Teachers. I've seen. I sort of agree with you, and I've removed Violet Teachers as well from Rogue, but I've seen a few players now and again still keep it in. It's really bold, I think, to run it in a meta with patrons, but I guess if you can get it out early, maybe it can do work, and it's strong against Druid.
It's usually that you need 3/4 drops, so you run Double Shredder or Double Teacher and one of the other.
Yeah.
I like the BGH play here, although it's going to get punished like really hard with the backstab. Like, basically, the way Nostam wins this is drawing into lore or like a good 7 drop. Kolento is like so far ahead right now though, because like Nostam's hand is like pretty bad. You don't want, as I said, you don't want Force Roar whenever your opponent's at 30 HP.
Yeah.
You basically use 2 cards to do nothing. Like ramping up does nothing if you don't have like plays, right? He's gonna need to cycle the Wrath next turn. Hopefully draw into something good.
Well, he's got a Shade. That's one thing that he can.
Oh yeah, that beautiful Shade. I'd like to see him cycle the Wrath here. Yeah. Let's draw first.
Yeah, his hand's pretty terrible at the moment. I mean, looking at it, this is one of the dream hands as Rogue. You have like a perfect mix of removal. He's got second prep and creatures to be able to back up his spells. Like,
yeah, his hand is pretty sick. The second he draws into a flurry, like the game's just over. I think. Yeah. It's just the prep, and that's what he's kind of digging for right now with the Drake. Yeah. Ooh, that can actually win him the game. He should attack here, I think. Because he has no good way to remove it. Oh my goodness. That Lothab was so clutch. Holy... Like...
Lothab usually on curve like that, or not even on curve, just at any point against a Rogue if they don't already have a big board. Just pretty much makes their next turn.
Yeah,
playing a creature and then passing.
Like, he's like trying to set up for lethal with the... Like, it's so good he attacked with Shade there. And like, he has combo in hand. That Lothab was like, definitely the clutchest of draws. Let's see, how much HP is he at? Definitely not lethal, but he's getting there.
It would have been lethal if he didn't play double Earthen Ring, but
yeah, if he did top like that Earthen Ring,
pretty obvious.
I think you just go for it.
Yeah,
I like it. Like, you know, he just used 2 heals. Like, what are the odds he runs like another heal bot in there? You're gonna draw into damage eventually. I like this a lot.
It limits the amount of times he can use Dagger to hit in.
Exactly. Basically, he's setting up for lethal, right? He has a Grove in hands. He has to deal with that threat. Dang, these games are like really fast. I like that a lot. A lot, like some Druid players like don't do that. They're just like, oh, I don't have a lethal with combo. I'm not gonna go in. But I'm glad he realized that he needed to go in there.
Well, now as Kolento, you have to sort of. You're really on a clock here because every single turn you risk your opponent top decking. So he just has to try and piece together as much damage as he possibly can, build up a big board, and try and set up lethal over the next couple turns. And if he draws into Blade Flurry next turn,
that's game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, he tried.
He tried.
He tried.
He tried to put himself in the best possible position, but there's not really anything he can do. I mean, even if Nostam didn't have Keeper in his hand, there were still a lot of draws that would have won him the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Either Druid of the Claw, Savage Roar, which he got off the top anyway, Second Force of Nature, just so many things that win the game. So, really well played by Nostam. He's going to tie the series up 1-1 and take a win with the Druid. And a lot of players have been cutting Druid from their lineups. I've actually seen a lot of players saying that Druid isn't in the best spot. Do you agree with that statement? What are your thoughts on Druid right now?
I think it's coming back. I didn't bring it to DreamHack Winner. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people I talked to didn't, because it was like losing to Tempo Mage. It was losing to Rogue. It was losing to. It even lost to Malilock sometimes. Like, it just lost to a lot of decks. And like, Hunter was getting popular. Patron Warrior is popular. It just didn't have good matchups anymore. But it's starting to come back because, I mean, it has very strong cards like Wild Growth, Innervate, things like that.
Yeah, Tiddler actually ran Druid in his lineup, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was interesting, some of the decks, some of the Druid decks, a lot of them ran like Wars and like a bunch of like weird cards like that. So, it's like Kolento's going to pick Hunter against Nostam's Warrior.
Yeah, Nostam in the matches that he played that I saw in one of the open tournaments, he was playing Patron. All right, and he is playing Patron again, so. All right. Well, this looks like it's mid-range.
Yeah, I think it is. It might be hybrid. I saw Wolf Rider in the Mulligan.
Oh, yeah, Wolf Rider. Yeah, that's right.
It's interesting he coined this out. I guess he has another 3-drop to follow it up. I usually like saving for Despite, but I guess he just wants to squeeze in some draws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. I actually think this matchup is like super favored for the Patron Warrior. Like, very, very, very favored, because you usually run double Armor Smith. And like, Despites and Whirlwinds, like, they just can't get aboard. The only way I think that the Patron Warrior loses is something like, you know, can't deal with a high main. But you can usually deal with like the little minions, or you don't draw into a weapon, something like that.
Yeah.
This is a hard position.
Yeah. You can just kill command the Brothian Berserker. He can Animal Companion healer, but I don't.
You could get like a Huffer. That's not too much. You could go with Knife Juggler and go for some juggles. You only need to hit one, and then you can trade in your Leopard Gnome.
Yeah, that's true. That fits the curve as well. So you could weave in a hero power.
Yeah, this is fine as well. I think he wants to protect his Death Rattle, something like Roland.
Because if he throws in all that damage and then ends up missing his juggles, then he puts himself in a really awkward position where he's going to take like 10 damage to the face the next turn.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Explosive Trap. Interesting.
So, yeah, sometimes the Hybrid Hunters do run it, but it feels more and more like Face Hunter as we get going. The opening hand just didn't seem very facey. The Haunted Creeper is a little bit interesting because some Face Hunters don't run Haunted Creeper, but...
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if he's going to burn a Whirlwind here to kill off the Knife Juggler. So he is. Okay. Huh. Kolento's like out of cards, but I mean, the Warriors are like, you know, doesn't have board, he's a low HP.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could go either way right now. I was going to say the Warrior like won this like earlier, but putting up a fight. I like it.
Oh, Kill Command. That's some pretty good reach.
Yeah, definitely. I like Unleashing here. I like this a lot, because he just used the Whirlwind. He didn't have another Whirlwind, otherwise we would have queued it up already. He has no way to deal with these 1/1s. I mean, ideally you want to be getting in your Kill Command early, but, I mean, this pushes the most damage for sure. That's all you want to do. You want to smork it up.
There have been some Patron Warrior lists who have been running Shield Slam, but other than that, Patron Warriors don't have much on-demand life gain. You talked about the Armor Smiths, but Armor Smiths are usually something that you lay on turn 2 and then bank on as like the first couple turns go by. Unless you're setting up for like big Patron turns later on where you Warsong, Patron, and Armor Smith to keep bouncing and gaining more armor.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have like very... It takes a while for the Armor Smith to get value, basically. I agree.
So he's at 10 health now. He doesn't have ways to like deal with what's on the board without taking too much damage in the process. And without Emperor Thorsan as well, he's still a couple turns away from being able to dish out big combos. I think this is looking grimmer and grimmer for Nostam.
Grim. I think you just clear the board completely. I think you use the Inner Rage. I think you armor up. And it sucks you don't have a unit on the board, but you basically don't want them to have a unit to Abusive Sergeant, to buff with Glaive Zuka, because they get an extra damage in, and it just like slowly eats at them. But he disagrees. This is better, like holding it is better against something like a Wolf Rider. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's going in.
Yeah. Well, he sets up for lethal the following turn with just kill command and hero power as long as one damage sticks onto the board, or if he attacks him with explosive. So
yeah, he's scared it's freezing, I think. This is
well, it's okay. It is turn 8 because of the Arcane Golem, so that's one thing that he can.
Ooh, is that game? That's.
If he can't really afford to play around anything right now.
Exactly.
He just has to sort of go all in and hope that it's like a trap that he can deal with. But yeah, since he's not armoring up, he has kill command in hand. So yeah, that is going to be game. And Wolf Rider.
I think it wasn't. I don't think it was hybrid. We would have seen like a Shredder. We would have seen like a High Main or something.
Yeah.
Nice. Base. Smork it up.
Yeah,
that's so good to bring in like tournaments and stuff, like bringing one Smork Hunter, like one really aggressive deck, because like it usually just like steals a win or something.
The Arcane Golem especially. Hybrid Hunters, I mean, they sort of flirt the line between both. So you can put in like a full like 28 Face Hunter and then like high mains and just cut random cards in the early curve, but the Arcane Golem basically says it's just full face, so yeah, I definitely don't disagree with that choice from Kolento. So he's going to take a 2-1 lead. The only deck he has left to win with is Rogue, and he's got to do it against either Warlock or Patron Warrior. And depending on what kind of Warlock it is, I think he's got a pretty decent shot to just find one win against either Grim Patron Warrior or any type of Warlock.
Yeah, I think Rogue's pretty favored against Patron. It can definitely go like the way of Patron, but I don't exactly right. It's that thing. Like I think Rogue is favored against like almost everything, but you have flurries to clear the threats. Like the only way the Patron wins, or most of the way the Patron wins, I feel, is getting those weapons and just smacking face. Just smack the crap out of the Rogue. Yeah.
So I asked this question a lot, and I know it's not relevant to this matchup, but I want to get your thoughts on it. Rogue versus Handlock. Rogue favored?
There's a couple factors. Do they run Ooze and do they run Lotheb? If they run Lotheb, it goes a little. I still think it's Rogue favored, but it goes a little more toward like it's more 50-50. If they don't run Lotheb or Ooze, then it's like 60 or 70% for the Rogue, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it gets to that, but this match is going to be Kolento's Rogue versus the Patron Warrior of Nostam.
Let's see. Double oil. It's bulky. It's a hard turn. It's a very hard turn. Because on one hand, you want to kill the Acolyte so he can't get draw, but on the other hand, you don't want to just drop a naked SI. If you coin into Shredder, if he has a weapon, then there's a chance. I think coin Shredder is probably the best play, but if he has a weapon, then he can draw off Acolyte with like the Shredder will probably drop a 2-attack minion, a 1-attack minion, something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's hoping for a 3-attack plus here. Let's see what he gets. I think the average is below.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Sometimes lucky.
Yeah. So that's probably one of the best things that you can get from a Shredder as a Rogue, just because you can buff it up with oil.
Man, that would have been terrible if you didn't draw into that.
Yeah. I've won games before, or one single game. I don't want to say games, but one single game. It felt like multiple games where I got oil, or I got the Whirling Zap-O-Matic from a Shredder, and then ended up being able to oil it up. And
yeah, that card is very tilting to get. Like, I mean, like for the opponent, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's also like a really hard turn for the Rogue. Everything's just like coming up really, really awkward for the Rogue, and you don't really want these turns because like you don't want to read Dagger, you don't want to like, you don't want to play a naked SI. You can't really prep anything.
Yeah, and wow,
I don't know what to do here.
you can prep.
Prep SI face, Tink Soil attack into
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's like really sketchy.
Well, because you're forcing him to attack into
6-3.
your 6/3, so he's going to take a lot of damage. But you're also at the same time wasting. Um,
Oh, he's just burning a prep. He's not even using the oil.
huh.
Interesting.
So he values the second charge of the oil
Huh.
more than the actual prep. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Because it would also have turned out to be sort of even because he would have ended up taking more damage to the face because of him, 3 more damage to the face because of him having to attack into the SI agent with the weapon. Most likely. I mean, there was chances he could, like, cool Taskmaster BGH or cool Taskmaster Execute or something like that, or even just hit with Despite and Execute, but that's forcing him to have that combination earlier on.
Yeah, the Drake, yeah. There's some, I don't know, there's like some turns where they just play themselves, right? Like, oh, I have 5 mana.
Yeah.
I only plays a Drake, I'll play the Drake, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like, yeah, Patreon's in like a pretty commanding position. The only thing he's like really missing is another weapon, and maybe like Emperor or something like that. He has like the double frothing combo, which is like the dream, but I think he's gonna play 1 frothing and then just cool execute. Yeah, I like this.
And since Kolento doesn't have a weapon developed, he doesn't really have a good way to deal with this board this turn.
Stab. Does that help? You can backstab, eviscerate, dagger.
Yeah.
You could also just set up a Tink Soil this turn and next turn flurry. So those are his 2 options. We'll see what he does.
If you leave the Frothing Berserker on the board, though, in hopes of flurrying it next turn,
I know it could go wrong.
could end very badly.
You could smack it with your face also.
Yeah, that's true.
Save your eviscerate, but I'm not sure how much he would value that. I don't know, those Tink Soils are like really clunky. You kind of want them out of your hands sooner or later.
Yeah. Bet he's wishing he still had that prep. But I guess there wasn't really any way to navigate that turn without using prep the turn prior. So,
Sap. Okay.
Sap on the Armor Smith.
Yeah. There's not much to sap in this matchup unless they run Belcher or something. So he just wants to use his mana, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, if you sap the Frothing Berserker, there's a chance that the Frothing Berserker is going to do more damage to you than it would have if you hadn't sapped it.
Oh man, yeah. You never sap Frothing Berserkers. They'll come back and bite you.
Yeah.
I've learned that like the hard way for sure. That's a really, 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 really good draw. Dustbite. It's like the most important card in this matchup.
Yep.
And he can do 8 to face and just smack. Like this is what I'm talking about. You just smack him in the face, hit him with Grom. Game can definitely go your way.
Yeah, with Patron Warrior, you don't even need to save Grom for lethal. It's basically just 10 damage for 8 mana most of the time.
Just smack away. There's the sprint, second flurry, Farseer, second sap. Okay.
Well, spending a whole turn having to use sprint is pretty rough because now he's going to be put at 5 health.
Yeah, I like this. Just slam Gromosh. Rogues don't really have a good way to deal with it. You're what, 5 damage off lethal?
Yep.
Next turn you have War Song into Frothing. Yeah, you can win with an Enrage next turn.
And that's if he finds a way to deal with your board. Which...
Exactly. Your Gromosh is like terrifying as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Can you even kill it?
He can sap it.
That sounds like a good plan. Like this is what I was talking about though. Like you kind of want to save your eviscerates for bigger like things. If you set up the Tink Soil earlier, his hand wouldn't be as clunky. He could flurry something, but
yeah,
I mean, you can't really anticipate them to have the second Dustbite into Gromosh into you crying. Your face is all hurt.
How was he? Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
it's sad.
Yeah. I was wondering how he was going to navigate it. Well, now he's just an activator away from winning the game, like a Whirlwind. I guess he's still 1 minute off from being able to Cruel Taskmaster it.
You could just run it in this turn if you would like.
Yeah. Is nope, not quite.
So
He could.
the most heal you're anticipating is 3, right?
Yeah.
Because you know he has one more Farseer, and he's probably not running double Farseer heal bot. So you could probably just smack face with the War Axe and then trade in your War Song if you want or something. This also works. It just sets up for lethal, right?
Yeah.
I don't like this as much because if he draws into a second Farseer, like he could just heal. Oh no, because he could just War Axe and play it again. Never mind. No, that's good. It's all
Well,
good.
this is a lot of damage, but
4, 5, 6.
it's not enough to kill him.
I don't think so. 6 plus 8, 8 plus 6, 12.
It's not. Is it what, 19?
Yeah, he's
Dave?
off. Yeah, it's like 19-ish.
18 or 19. And even if he removes here, he's still dead.
Yeah,
So
the War Axe is going to get him for sure.
you can try and go all in, and do that amount of damage and
He has to
trade
remove-
something in.
He has to remove Gromosh, and I think he
Yeah.
understands that. He's probably going to end up flurrying here and just trying to clear it, but we can tell it's pretty over. So it's going to be like 2-2, right? That's pretty good.
And if the oil doesn't land on his Sousy here, it's going to be super awkward for him to clear off the Grom anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's just inefficient. It's not awkward, it's just inefficient, because he'd have to throw in something that has more damage. I guess it's only a difference of 1, but
Yeah.
at this stage in the game, it doesn't really matter either way, because he's going to lose.
Bible thump.
Alright, well, he finds one with Patron Warrior, and that's sort of a deck that you can pretty much, not guarantee, but count on winning at least one matchup in Conquest at this stage. So we're going to go to Game 5, and the Game 5 is going to be Kolento's Rogue versus Nostam's Warlock, which we actually haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I wonder what he brought. It might be Zoo. Zoo's kind of hard to beat as Rogue sometimes. Rogue can lose to like any Warlock, though. It just really depends on the Rogue's draw.
It seems like Kolento hasn't had the worst draws. He's just had a couple of awkward turns where he just hasn't really had a chance to come back. Like the one turn against Druid where he got Loathebbed. And then,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
the-
game was like stolen from him.
yeah, and then the one turn where he had to play prep just to combo an SI to clear. Like just 2 awkward turns in those 2 games. Pretty much just lost it and killed all of his momentum. So
Feels bad, man.
feels bad, man.
Prepping out an SI on turn 4 against a
Yeah.
warrior. Oh man,
All right. Well, it looks like it is going to be
is that a
dragon?
combo lock? Yeah, it might be dragon. It might be combo.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Oh, it's okay. It's combo.
It's combo. Yeah,
I was thinking Siphon Soul seems more combo lock.
exactly. Yeah,
Than Dragon Lock. And Imp King Boss, some Dragon
yeah.
locks.
Most dragon locks run it now.
Yeah. At
feel
first, people were running the Blackwing Technician, but people
the
realized
3/5.
that Imp King Boss was basically a 3/5 most of the time.
Exactly. It's like it does the exact same thing. So except better, especially against aggro.
Yeah. Most of the time, it's at least a 3/5. And then sometimes it can even be even more than that if you can get multiple imps. And sometimes Blackwing Technician, you have to play as a 2/4 anyway. All right. Well, this... I'm not sure how this matchup is going to go. It feels like that both players are trying to do the same thing, which just control the board early on and then make big plays later on, where the Warlock's looking for power overwhelming and the Rogue's looking for big oil plays. Feels like the Rogue would have an advantage in that case, but do you have much experience with this matchup?
Not combo lock. I haven't played against a combo lock. I'm not sure if Kolento realizes it's actually like the Arcane Golem version or the Leori version.
Yeah.
But I think that this matchup is favored towards the Rogue. However, Kolento might not put enough pressure, because you need pressure, right? Otherwise, the combo lock's just going to like draw us 30 damage and Raffle stomp your face. So I'm not sure if Kolento realizes that it is combo lock. Like, he might take it slower with... Like, combo lock, I think, is a little faster and has more burst than melee lock in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
So it just depends on if Kolento can, like, see what kind of Warlock he's against. And if Nostam can draw into his combo pieces like Emperor, his Faceless, his Charger, he already has double PO. Like, that's pretty scary.
He had to use both his saps early on just to try and stop some of the momentum here from Nostam. He used the first sap on the first Imp Gang boss, but he's developed a little bit of a hold on the board, but it's not going to last long.
Yeah, it can be cleared. Mortal Coil is like so clutchy. Black Knight, wow. It's like the old school list. Old school combo lock.
Yeah, it's full removal. It's like all removal with a couple heals and combo.
Okay, Hellfire. Opposite, just clear. I like it. Once again, Kolento, double oil. Double oil. So much damage.
Yeah. If he's able, like on turn 10, to just have a minion stick for one turn, he's basically already approaching lethal. Or even just drawing into like a South Sea deckhand and a prep is so much damage.
I think he's just debating whether he wants to Loatheb or Drake here.
Yeah.
And I think part of what goes into this decision is whether he thinks it's Mally Lock or not, because Mally Lock runs implosions, and I think he wants to block out, like, you know, implosions or some kind of spell from Nostam. Also, it deals with the Belcher really effectively, so it's good. Ooh, Ooze. I like that tech. I love that tech. That makes me so happy. Like, I love seeing Ooze in these type of decks, because, like, it just crushes Patron Warrior, and it does pretty well against, like, against Rogue. A lot of times you want to like hold your dagger and stuff, but it's awesome. I love that tech.
And you can fit in more stuff in a single turn than Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really need the card draw because you're just going to be tapping every turn. So it's a nice body against aggro as well. I really like that tech.
Yeah. You feel bad holding Harrison Jones in your opening hand against aggro, but you like feel obligated to anyway. But Ooze is like an automatic keep when you know you're facing an aggro class that runs weapons.
Exactly. Ooh, that Forplosion though. Dark Bomb Coil? Man, that is a very good turn.
That's pretty sick.
That Forplosion was like really, really important. Faceless. Oh man, one more combo piece and Kolento's like dead.
Nostam gave a slight smirk when his implosion rolled 1. But it's really hard to not keep a game face when you're going up against Kolento because he always has the exact same expression on his face.
This Ooze is gonna crush him. This Ooze is so big.
Wow.
I can't even contain myself right now. This Ooze.
I remember you were one of the first players that I saw run Ooze and Handlock back before Mally Lock was popular. Oh my god,
yeah,
7 attacks.
I know. It feels bad, man. Yeah, I like tapping because you know he's out of burst. Heal bot, easy trade, easy game, easy life. Alright. Definitely not over yet. Kolento, like, you know, basically the Mally Lock, or the combo lock needs to draw. Oh, Sprint was the best draw he could have gotten, by the way. He needs to draw into his Charger. He might actually have lethal set up on board, I'm not sure. Because he does have the damage from the double POs, which is 8. It just depends.
Yeah, so he's got 9 damage on board plus the double POs, so that's 17 damage total next turn. Doesn't have direct damage from hand either, so it's getting close, and he might, if he can put in a couple damage. Wow,
Shredder, yeah, that's interesting.
Huh.
So much damage.
Shredder's sort of like a weird type of removal, I suppose. It's not really removal, but it's so sticky that you know it's going to trade.
Like 2 for 1?
Yeah, 2 for 1 always.
Exactly. It's like, it's such a good card. You're always like trading down, or, you know, like getting more value than it's worth. And I really like it. I like it in that deck. Heal bot, tap. Shredder. Okay. Wow. Putting on the pressure.
Yeah. And I don't really think this deck is really known for pressure, but the 4 roll on Implosion really helped him out in that regard.
I think Kolento has to prep Sprint here, right? Because he needs to draw into his Deadly to deal with the board. The board is like way too scary right now.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean though, like Kolento's not out of it. He can definitely come back. if he draws into his dad. Nope. Backstab. SI.
Yeah. Well, you can hope for Doomsayer.
Definitely can. I think that's what he's going for. You can clear out most of the board, but oh. This backstab SI. I don't think Kolento's dead yet. He's close.
Very close.
Is he?
I think he's still
No,
dead.
he's dead. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
even
dead.
if he backstabbed SIs, there's still...
Well, you can flurry.
Okay.
It looks like he's going for it. Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good play.
Yeah. Flurry removes just enough.
And I really, really like this eviscerate because basically he's not giving Nostam the chance to use those POs. Like Nostam needs a charger now to win the game.
Wow. All right. Can he draw it?
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Off the
So
top.
clutch. Looks like
Yeah.
Nostam's going to take out Kolento. But Kolento's still in the tournament. He's in the losers bracket, right?
Yeah. So basically, these are GSL-style groups. If you're not familiar with that, 4 players in each group. 2 players play each other on both ends, and then the winners play each other, and the losers play each other. And then from there, it's basically double elimination. So Kolento will still have another shot. He'll basically play the loser of Eldritch and Wafster, which I believe will be the next matchup. And of course, Nostam, he's just 1 win away from securing a spot in the playoff stage on Sunday. So winning that first match is a big deal because it means you have sort of an easier road. You just have to win 1 more match, and you have 2 losses as sort of like padding to get you through the rest of the day. And of course, Nostam will move on to face the winner of Eldritch and Nostam. But again, guys, just a quick reminder, make sure you head over to GEICO.ONOG.GG. You can find there all the information about the tournament, about GEICO points, and about the feature tournaments and the grand finals at PAX. You can also get a quote from GEICO, who, of course, is the premier sponsor for this event. And you can also enter in a chance to win an official TSM PC. It is a global giveaway, so anybody can enter to win that. And just follow the instructions on screen. And of course, since TSM is under the GEICO umbrella, that's why it's a TSM PC. So if you are a big fan, make sure you head over to that website and enter in for your chance to win. But the next matchup is going to be Eldritch versus Wafster. We're going to take a 2-minute break, but don't go anywhere. More One Nation of Gamers Summer Circuit returns right after this.